Lots of folks ask me, how long does it take to make a MechaniCard? Well, there are a couple of ways to answer that question. With tongue-in-cheek, I consider how long it took me to come up with the idea in the first place. In which case, you could say it takes about 57 years. After all, these things are a product of the sum total of a lifetime of experience, observation, and synthesis up to the point when the ideas that comprise these things coalesced in the act of their creation. But I know that's not what people are really asking. So then, the time it takes to fabricate any one particular model varies, and there are numerous qualifiers. The effort to answer this seemingly simple question became an interesting project and an exercise in discipline. That is, both as a time and motion study and as a filmmaking project. Right now, you are watching the making of Thumbs Up, currently the newest MechaniCard model, with the video sped up 8 times normal speed. Contrary to this demonstration, I don't ordinarily build these pieces in one-at-a-time fashion, which is very inefficient. And for this video, all the setup of tooling, fixtures, and the equipment needed to perform each operation has been omitted, creating a false, if pleasing, sense of continuity. You should also know that you're not seeing the various mistakes I made along the way, putting the wrong part on, getting glue on something that shouldn't have, troubleshooting and fixing or replacing things, butterfinger accidents, etc. These episodes do occur regularly in real life, so you'll have to forgive a certain fudge factor in the final analysis. The first step in the process, as you've seen, is the preparation of a piece of illustration board, painting part of the underside where the two-sided hand parts will be cut out. Each laser-cut sheet contains the components for 3 units. If you want to count laser cutting time, which is about 27 minutes for this sheet, you could say that the parts for one piece get cut in about 9 minutes. Also not shown in this video are the making of a handful of ancillary parts made from different materials, some laser cut, others machined or handmade, contributing perhaps another several minutes to each unit. Oh, and there's cleanup too. Most of the assemblies are put together with high viscosity cyanoacrylate glue that sets up in about 30 seconds. Typically, while one assembly sets up in its jig, parts for a different one are put together in overlapping time. Still, with over 75 individual parts, this model easily consumes a lot of time in the making. Many people also comment that these things are expensive. Of course, that's a relative term depending on your interest in fine art. But for those who might insist on knowing whether making MechaniCards is a lucrative business, I would first point out that before what you are seeing was even possible, I spent some uncompensated weeks in the development of this design. I fed the trash can quite well, and came to question the sanity of making such a thing more than once. Then there was considerable time spent in developing the tools and methods necessary to replicate these pieces in a relatively affordable way. Did I mention that I pay rent on my workshop, employ helpers, and buy a pretty fair amount of glue and paper? Never mind that. Thank goodness for commission work is all I have to say. I set myself to a pretty tough challenge with this particular piece. That was the design of a mechanism that would provide for the hand to delay striking its final pose until it was fully upright, and then to wait until the fingers were re-extended before retracting to the base, all controlled by the one little crank. I thought that having a pair of gears that engaged or disengaged as the hand flipped up and down was a fairly elegant and simple solution to this problem. Obviously, the finger mechanism can't operate until the gears engage when the hand is upright, but the gears have to stay engaged for the fingers to re-extend, so the little string winder has to provide a delay before pulling the hand shut. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed reducing the creation of this work of fine art to the cold-hearted scrutiny of a manufacturing engineer. In real time, it takes from 1.5 to 2 hours of non-stop fussing to put together one of these little gems. For me, though, the joy of doing this kind of work far outweighs the inequity of any other compensation.